Okay, let me check to see if this thing's working. And if the stream quality isn't shit. Alright. Looks like stream quality isn't shit. Great. Feel free to go crazy in the chat if you feel like it. If not, well, whatever. Alright, I can't remember where I left off, so I think it was just before the dragon sequence with Baldur. At least I'm fairly certain it was. I could be mistaken though. So, this will be an experience. And for those who may or may not be watching, I apologize for not making this 1080p, but my internet apparently can't handle that. So, whoops! So that's why the entire God of War 3 stream looked like shit. Because I'm an idiot. Among other things. So, oh, that's right, I'm using the Zeus armor. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna keep using that. Zeus armor's fun. Alright. So, I mentioned in the previous stream that God of War 3 doesn't really pressure you to pay attention to enemies in so much as you have to, like, how to put it? You spend a lot of time solving puzzles, basically, enemy puzzles, where, like, they'll put it in a specific type of enemy to deal with enemies that are really hard to deal with, like Medusa to kill a bunch of shield guys and stuff. And that's, like... I'm gonna do it. Ah. I'll get you eventually, Odin Raven. But basically, the gist is, like, those are combat puzzles, basically. They're put in there specifically to sort of force the player to do something really precise, using certain types of enemies who will affect the other enemies in certain ways. And this is good for that kind of combat, you know, and there's also, like, an emphasis on action and stuff. Like, weapon switching is infinitely more fluid in God of War 3 than I think it is in most other action games. The thing is, though, God of War Norse is not a God of War 3 game. It is not a classic God of War game at all. And I think not a lot of people like that. Like, not a lot of people want to hear that, but it's the truth. It is not those games. It's kind of trying to be at times, but it isn't at all. Like, for example, the animation. The animation doesn't feel snappy as it would in classic God of War. But, you know, why am I so bad at this? Like the axe throw. You know, this is the snappiest animation in the game. Right here. This. The axe recall. The axe throw. Animations in classic God of War popped. Like when he blocked. It popped. It doesn't pop here. This almost borderline pops, but then it doesn't. It just comes out really quickly, but really, I want to say flatly, but it's not even that. Like, there's still a sense of motion to it, but not as much. And part of that is the fact that the graphics are hyper-realistic means anything that's part of Kratos that moves too quickly or too snappily looks weird, you know? But stuff that isn't directly on the character model that can get away with looking weird does get to look weird. Like that. Like the way it pulls back looks unnatural, right? But it's a magic lax. it's supposed to do that. So where they could get away with it, they absolutely go for it. You know, where they can't get away with it, they try to avoid making stuff look too snappy, too poppy, and that's something to do with like the uncanny valley of action, I guess. Where some action games look too realistic.
Would you like to see the look on his face?
No, I may have kept your secret too long, but now you will keep our secret.
Where if something looks too realistic, but it still like pops out with the animation, it looks weird, and it almost looks off-putting or bad. Which is why Itsuno insisted on making Devil May Cry 5 the way he did, like where everything feels slower, but there's also a sense of realism to it as well. I mean, it can only go so far, but there's a lot of stuff like you can get away with.
Secrets are Odin's way. Shouldn't we be open? Like Tyr?
Tyr kept secrets too, for good reasons. To protect people. It is wiser to be discreet.
That doesn't mean you should lie to your friends. Or your family.
I'm sure Sindri would understand and do the same, lad. Don't fret.
But right, that's one of the elements that are very different here, that I feel like...
Excited to finally see the land of the giants?
Okay.
Yeah, but also sad the journey's almost over. Oh, what if we get to Jotunheim and there aren't any giants there either?
Makes little difference to us. Fulfilling your mother's wish is what is important.
Ah! Well,
This is
don't
the
go
part
anywhere.
of the
We wish you
story
in
of
2
God of
shakes.
War Norse that I really don't like.
Can I tell him?
No.
Tell me what? Did you put this wheel in your mouth? Oh god, I'll vomit. I'm not
Because it's
kidding.
where
I'll throw up on
Atreus
it.
turns into like the most
Nothing.
insufferable little
Family matter.
gremlin ever.
Oh.
It's very brief, but it's very
can tell
noticeable.
you a thing or two about
And a lot of
family
people hate
matters.
this part.
Let me guess. Your brother isn't as talented
But
as
the
you,
thing
and
is-
his work is junk.
Those things are
They do a good
Your
job
point?
with it.
It's all you ever talk about. Over and over.
And then the thunderstorm
Listen
happens,
about
which
it or
really
shut
punctuates
up.
that.
I see.
Yeah! We're sick of hearing about little people's little problems.
All right.
Kratos just eyeing him like, what the hell?
Let's have a look at your gear then.
This sequence is kind of panned because it's, you know, Atreus sucks here. But that's the point. He's supposed to be a little shit. Like, this is the moment where he sort of becomes an asshole, and he needs to convincingly be one. And it works. I hate him here. And, oh, shit.
Moving a bit slow.
Oh, shit. Okay. I better pay attention. So in God of War 3,
Thought that was gonna stop us?
in God of War 3, you didn't really have to pay attention to enemies past their function in the fight, like Medusas and stuff like that. Here in God of War Norse, one of the most important things you have to remember is to always pay attention to what enemies you're up against, because they're all important without exception. Like, even the fodder have specific traits that make them really dangerous on higher difficulties. Yeah, almost everything's a threat, but at the same time, they aesthetically don't really stand out that much. Like, the Hellwalkers and the Draugrs kind of blend together a bit. I'm not a fan of that. Like, you know, you can tell which one's which. One's red, one's blue.
Why did you speak to the dwarf like that?
But
Aren't you sick of hearing about him and his brother?
Of
how many
course.
giant
But it serves
enemies
nothing to make an
can you
enemy
fight
of him.
before you eventually
You
stop
should know
caring?
the truth, even if it hurts.
It was needless and unkind.
Truth is more important than kindness.
Your mother would disagree.
She wasn't a god.
Ooh, yeah. So like, This is what I'm talking about with this arc. I hate it, but I also appreciate it because it's Atreus is an asshole here. Like, he's a massive douchebag. And they did a good job with that. I hate it. I hate playing this part. The one enemy I really have a lot of trouble with is the shield guys. Shield guys suck. I think I'm just supposed to dodge behind them, but like, they're always annoying with that exception. Because there's not really a secret trick to
No.
Why not? We're almost there. You know I can handle it.
breaking the shields, as far
After
as
the
I
way
can
you
tell.
spoke of her, I question that.
What? That she wasn't a god?
She was better than a god, and you shall not dishonor her.
Fine. Carry her yourself.
And again, like, they kind of, I feel like they went really far with this Atreus being a douchebag thing here. So, back to what I was saying about combat. So, combat in this game is strategic. It's not as fun as God of War 3. I'll admit that right now. It's not as good as God of War 3 combat. But it does have the excuse of being really, really different. Because every enemy has to be important, and it's engaging in its own way, but it is absolutely no classic God of War game. And it's like these guys. These guys are annoying. They explode, and they're poisonous. God of War Norse wants you to pay attention. It wants you to play by its rules, and not button mash. Button mashing's out this game. If you try that, you're gonna suffer for it. And also, like, you have to be very careful around certain types of enemies. Green enemies are poisonous. So you don't want to get hit by them ever. Like that. Blue enemies cause freeze and stuff like that. And there's still like a sort of
Mimir,
damaging
you knew all
AoE
along
thing
that
when
we were
you
gods.
grapple enemies.
why
But
come up with the story about
it's
Odin
not
trying
as
to follow
pronounced
us
in
to Jotunheim
God of War
before we
3.
get there already? Isn't it a lot simpler if they want us dead because we're gods? And they think we're a threat?
I suppose we can't rule it out. But Odin's ways are subtle, and his purposes are...
Enough about Odin and his whole stupid family.
There's also a neat thing they do mechanically here. Sometimes
Anything can get through all that hell bramble.
Atreus just stops shooting during this sequence. Or he doesn't want to shoot. Or he shoots the wrong arrows.
I felt that one, brother.
That's like a sort of a gameplay to story transition thing. I think they call it fluid narrative. It's minor, but it is a detail they put in during this sequence that makes it more annoying. Another thing they do is, across the entire game, Atreus' marksmanship progressively gets better to the point where he eventually starts being able to cause exploding Draugr to explode early. Before that happens, you have to use the axe to do that. Like, you have to literally go full ranged combat. Atreus can't trigger their explosion. Near the end of the game, he can't. And this isn't any ability you buy, it's strictly story related. Near the end of the game, he just gets that good with the bow. And it's pretty much hard locked to story progress. You start a new game plus, his bowmanship's going to be weak right out the gates. It's a bit annoying, but it's also neat because they went that far with it.
I suppose that's Odin's doing too. Nice try.
Okay, I remember this. This is the exploding bramble thing.
You and Mother always said all gods were evil. But we're not. Tyr wasn't. Freya neither. The Aesir gods, that's who's evil. And you know what? Odin's right. We are a threat. Because we know what they are and we know we can beat them.
Well, not all of them. Not yet.
Magni did his worst, and he's dead. They're no better than us. And they're gonna be sorry they picked this fight.
Yeah, this whole sequence is just... I wince every time. I really do. That's just how good a job they do here. Like, when you find out he's Loki, this makes way more sense, but it's like, it's still awful every time. And here's the worst part. He goes full psychopath killer.
Me? For what you did to Magni.
See, that's what the storm outside
My own
was.
father called me a coward.
Looks like he did more than that. Move it, or we'll pick up where he left off.
I'll kill you.
No. He is beaten. Not worth killing.
He should pay for what he said about Mother.
I said no.
God of War Norse is mostly
Oh, we're gods.
about its story, I think.
We can do whatever we want.
And it's probably got one of the strongest stories in the God of War franchise,
That's
in
what
my
I
opinion.
said to your mother. Right before I gave it to her.
What are you doing?
This is a much better knife than Mother's.
And that cuts.
You killed against my wishes. You lost control.
Haven't you been teaching me to kill?
I've been teaching you to survive. We are gods, boy. And that makes us a target. From now until the end of days, you are marked. So I teach you to kill, yes. But in defense of yourself. Never as an indulgence.
Nobody cared about him anyways. What's the difference?
There are consequences to killing a god!
Why? How do you know? How do you know?
Watch your tone, boy.
He doesn't elaborate because he knows if he does at this time, it's probably going to make things a bit worse. Like, how do you tell your kid, oh yeah, I butchered an entire pantheon and destroyed an entire nation? You kind of don't.
Whatever.
That's really the core of the conflict here in God of War Norse, is like, oh, I hate these things.
Keep your wits about you, boy. If Modi found us, Baldur cannot be far.
Good. I have a few words for him too.
No, you do not. You will leave him to me.
So you can kill him. Because that's what we do to our enemies, right? Because he'd do the same to us.
Do only what is necessary.
And I'll help.
No.
Now, from what I've seen in the God of War Ragnarok trailer, the combat's going to be a little bit better than this, because there's a lot more action and animation behind things. Seriously, Atreus is insufferable in this part of the game. Like, it looks way better than this. This feels like an experiment that kind of worked.
Oh yeah, this room. But we need a new way up.
But Ragnarok's probably going to be a lot better. Okay, you see that, right? I didn't press a button. He did that on his own. He's also not shooting. So I literally can't rely on him for this. But yeah, he's like shooting thunder arrows when I should have like stun equipped. This whole room is just him ignoring everything he's been taught through the game.
Have you forgotten your training?
Right.
Oh, are you talking to me? Thought you didn't like my tone.
See? Like, he literally acts up in this one sequence here, and I think a couple of others. Alright. But one of the things I really like about God of War Norse is how the combat starts off really slow. I know it sounds weird, but like, you start off with a single target weapon, the axe, and for half the game...
Teach me.
You do not heed my lessons.
I've done everything you asked, and all I wanted was the truth. Where did you get your fire?
For half the game, you have less enemies to deal with. The moment you get the Blades of Chaos, you start dealing with large crowds.
You use the blades to kill one. Who else did you kill? Before Magma? How many?
So they balance the game around teaching you to use the axe.
And these are not subjects for discussion. Do not push me, boy.
Fine. Amir, guess what? I know everything I need to know now. I have nothing else to learn.
Ah, congratulations.
I think the best part is Kratos is marching towards a really bad nightmare worst case scenario. He's been trying to avoid this entire time because he won't open up to his kid. And it's just making Atreus angrier and angrier. So like right at the end of the sequence when they finally get to the peak, it just blows up in his face in the worst case scenario. The thing he didn't want to have happen happens. Now, technically speaking, there are like 4 weapons in this game. You got the shield and fists. Oh, I hate that. You got the axe. You got the blades, which, you know, they're the staple. Then you got the bow, which is like, it's actually probably the best weapon in the game because it's Atreus. But more than that, it's like your best tool for staggering and managing enemies. So like, the bow can manage crowds. The stun arrows can sort of stop enemies in their tracks, and enemies that like to dodge around, you can shut them down. But you can also do that with the lightning arrows, if you like want to invest a lot of them into electrifying them.
Brothers, be warned. The tunnels I'm seeing in the walls up here show signs of recent dragon activity.
We already killed that dragon.
Oh, did you then? Well, how'd that go?
So you can do that too. And inflicting status effects is kind of important, at least as far as shock and stun are concerned. Burn is... I've never noticed it, honestly. Freeze, I've definitely noticed.
Look here.
Whatever.
There's a really high emphasis on strategy in this game. Like, in combat strategy, like picking and choosing your enemies, using different status effects to lock them down. And that's part of why I say, like, this isn't a classic God of War game at all. This is very different. It's
Not yet.
intentional. Oh boy, here we go.
Gonna be all right.
Okay, that was a bad idea. And then of course he goes whatever to his dad dying, so yeah. They went all out with this.
Come on, this way.
There are definitely some fights I
I'll take care of this.
Hold.
hate with a passion. This being one of them. This is one of those fights I really despise. Okay, hold that thought.
Okay back there.
Also, I'm like 90% sure I'm doing this wrong.
Well, this is a fine mess.
Okay, yeah, I suck at this. Hold on. This is an example of one of those enemies that are just really annoying.
This way.
There are different varieties of ancients, and they all do different things.
Not yet.
This one just fires a semi-guardable beam at you, so you can't just block it, you have to time block it. At least I think you do. Or maybe you can't. Shit. Definitely can't block that. Yeah, this thing's annoying.
Brother, no.
And using the Zeus armor makes this way harder than it needs to be, but that's my bad.
Come on, this way.
Seriously, what did I do to kill this? Guess we'll just use these. Hope for the best.
Have you considered a tactical retreat?
There we go.
They just never learn.
Maybe just really bad at throwing the Leviathan Axe in that one. Where you're supposed to throw the Leviathan Axe their core and then guard, or just time guard their projectiles. But, my game right now. Which is another nice way of saying I suck. Yeah. One thing I think is interesting is when they made this game, they chose to have the combat be in service to the story and the presentation overall. So, like, there are no, like, dramatic pullbacks to the camera for epic, over-the-top, crazy boss fights. You stick to the over-the-shoulder perspective for the most part. Where the hell am I? So they wanted to choose, like, to restrict themselves a lot, I guess. And no matter how you view it, a lot of people would probably say that this is just bad, or this is a huge step back from God of War 3, or God of War Ascension. Ugh. Not a fan of God of War Ascension. But, gameplay-wise, it kind of is. It just, there's no way around it. It's not as awesome or as over-the-top or as raw as God of War 3. But it is trying to serve a different purpose, and I think it works really well for that purpose. That's just my take. Like, God of War North is good in its own way, and it's got a really good story, too. It doesn't really go too in-depth with the story. It spends most of its time world building, but what it does build is generally really up there. So, I play God of War North mostly because I like the way it presents the world and the way it pushes Kratos into that world. Like, classic God of War games, it's almost like parody, you know? You just... He's there to kill the gods. Be an epic over-the-top badass. Here it has to take itself seriously. It has to take Kratos seriously, while also weaponizing a lot of the over-the-top moments from God of War 3, and relying on our like memory of that game to sort of add a bit of humor to everything. Because God of War North does reference God of War 3, 1 and 2 a lot in very indirect ways. To either establish that, yes, this slow, sluggish old man who, like,
Whatever.
swings an axe to kill big monsters, used to leap around titans and chop them up and shit. Like, I don't think this is the definitive future of the series. I think it's like a sidetrack they've gone into this specific Pantheon story. And when they go for like God of War 6, I guess if they're setting it in Egypt, it's gonna be really different too. But still like similar to this one and the classic God of Wars. Different ways.
Oh, hello. I didn't know you'd be coming through here.
I do really, really enjoy the RPG elements of it, right? The fact that you can invest a lot of time and energy into upgrading armor and gear like this, it's cool. I like that part of it. And the other thing, this game is an actual bona fide Metroidvania. Like, it's not very heavy into being one, but it is there. It's like, it tries to be a Metroidvania. It allows you to, like, freely explore the world once you get done, like, clearing an area. You can go back to it once you have the right tools. And, heck, when you have new stuff, you can just unlock new areas to explore. Mostly hidden chambers of Odin, but it's just... it's good. But it's a different kind of good. Okay, do I really want this? So one thing I really like is you can fully upgrade these sets of armor. Once you have the whole set, you can turn the entire set into an enchantment to slot into the gear you want to wear. So, like, Tears lost Unity. You can actually turn this into a huge resistance, or huge stat bonus overall.
It's almost like having a thick skin.
Okay, now where am I going here? This is... Oh yeah, this is that one shop I missed during my last attempt at 100%ing this game. Okay, here we go. There's also a lot to do in this game, like these time challenges. They're part of like a huge completionist thing to seal off these realms, and you get a lot out of them too. Like you can actually get like really rare items and stuff from this. I guess for me, God of War North is good because it's Kratos going on a completely new, completely different adventure under very different circumstances. It's like... It's a continuation of Kratos' story. And a completely new story with him in it. A completely new situation with him in it. Not completely disconnecting itself from the past and the really over-the-top crazy shit that happened. Like, imagine if you put...
Come on, you two. The silence is getting unnerving.
Don't worry about it. We're focusing.
It'd be like putting Doom Guy in Smash, I guess. Or Doom Guy in... Shit, something really different, but like, not quite so different. I'm trying to think of it. I'm maybe putting Doom Guy in the Fear series. Or something really weird like that. That's what this is to me. It's like putting one of my favorite characters into a very interesting, different setting that's still related. But nobody knows how much of a badass this guy is. So nobody knows like what they're dealing with when they're messing with him. So we, the player, get to like smile and go, oh boy, they're in for it now. That's why I like this game. And the combat's pretty decent. It's decent, not great. Like, I enjoy it for what it is, but it's no God of War 3 at all.
Nearly there now.
Finally.
Anyway, this is where shit hits the fan.
Boy, the rune.
That's the rune, huh?
Carve along that.
Something I really like about this, though, is how intrinsically connected God of War 3 is to Norse.
Wow. Yonan.
Because Kratos' worst fear is that his son's going to make his mistake and kill him.
Beautiful.
He really doesn't want to repeat history.
Brother, look out!
Miss me.
Run, boy! Cross the bridge!
No! I'm a god too! I can do this! Get off him!
Really?
And Baldur really doesn't care right now.
Baldur, let him go. Take me instead. I'll do whatever you...
Shut up! All this time, I thought I needed you. But you're just meat. Turns out, the boy is the brains.
No! You broke the gate! That was our only way to Jotunheim!
Stupid son of a bitch.
Get out of here, boy.
Yes, by all means. When you run away, let Daddy do all the heavy lifting for you.
Ah! Let go!
Calm down, boy. You are not ready for this.
I am ready!
And here it is, the moment that Kratos was most afraid of. Punctuated
Here I thought
by a
my
lightning
family
arrow,
was
of all
fucked up.
things.
Oh, your father is right, boy. You are far from ready. Now would you be so kind as to hold this for me? Thank you.
Atreus!
This moment is definitely really cool.
Don't you know when to give up?
Something I really enjoy is the fact that Baldur is technically like an opposite Kratos.
Stay away from my son!
Weak. You won't stop me. I will break you. Why won't you die?
One thing I really hope they rectify in this game, though, is the weapon switching. It's kind of unintuitive as hell. Here we go with this.
Who's activated the bridge? Hey, I asked you a question. It's locked in. And when the bridge opens, the full weight of Asgard will come crashing down on you. It's over.
Is it? So be it. No! Listen to me!
Let me out!
Let go of it now or I will kill him. You know I will.
Stay still.
And it's literally right here where Kratos finally decides to yell at his son. Out there in
Listen to
hell.
me and not speak a word. I am your father, and you, boy, are not yourself. You are too quick to temper. You are rash, insubordinate, and out of control. This will not stand. You will honor your mother and abandon this path you have chosen. It is not too late. This discussion is far from over. We are here because of you, boy. Never forget that.
And again, he intentionally tempers his tone every time he talks to his son in this manner. Which is like, I think, twice in the entire game. The most surprising fact about Kratos is that he's, like, actually a really good parent. Or at least a very pragmatic one. But think about this. It actually takes him being forced across the bridge to hell itself, in the worst place imaginable, for him to finally lose his temper with the kid.
Wow, it's cold. This is hell?
Not just hell. Worst place in hell you could have put us.
I see a ship.
Get us there. It only takes us halfway to Tyr's temple, but at least it gets us far from here.
For 1,000 mortal lifetimes, the Bridgekeeper kept the living out of this place. But now that you've ripped his heart out, here we are. Funny how it all comes around.
Boy.
That wasn't me.
Okay. I'm hearing nightmares somewhere. Where are they? Well, of course they're right behind me. Let me see if I can try something. Okay, I can't try something. I'm too tired to try something. Anyway. Helheim is actually a really good sequence.
But we're gods. We can do whatever we want.
Turn away, boy.
That's what I said to your mother, right before I gave it to her.
It wasn't me. I couldn't have done that.
Do not dwell on those thoughts. Not here.
Yeah,
We must keep moving.
yeah.
I'm gonna try to bum rush through this because I really don't want to go for the extra stuff here. I just want to get out of here. Because while I like this
Hey,
part of the game,
What was that?
Not just the old and sick come to Helheim, so do the criminals. Hell must not draw a distinction between us and those whom these visions are meant to torture.
How do we stop it?
Escape Hell as soon as possible.
I'm not gonna let it bother me. Like you said, Mimir, it was just an illusion. That wasn't me.
No. But it is who you have become of late.
Look, I know I got us into this, but I'll get us out. Whoever I am.
I will get us out. You will follow orders.
But maybe that's not who I am.
It had better be. Now let me focus.
I don't mean to hurry you, but faster?
Let me think.
Okay, hold on. I want to hurry and get through this section because the ship's up next, and I hate the ship. Like, I don't want to do the ship at all if I can help it, but there's no way around it. I'm not even sure why I always have so much trouble with it, I just do. Okay, where's that other wind trap at? I do like how Hell conceptually is a really neat place, though. Like, yeah, it's obviously scary, evil afterlife that all cowards and stuff go to, but it, like, visually it's really striking. And this isn't even like the heart of Hell, this is the fringe of Hell across the bridge. A place that tortures people with their past and stuff, so like, it serves a good narrative purpose, nothing else. Okay, I have no idea what I'm doing right now. I'm also running on fumes. I probably need to go to sleep in a bit, so I'll keep this up hopefully until I get past the bridge, or past the yeah, past the boat section, where you go across the bridge. And I'll call it a night. Or a day, or whatever we graveyard vampires call it.
So, can't feel my fingers.
Maybe both wind traps need to be filled?
Thank you. Thank you for that. Oh, okay, I get it. I'm dumb. Alright then. Oh shit. Oh wow. Getting away. It's funny, a lot of the staple attacks from God of War are still here, like, you still have hold attacks, right? Like this one here. And this one, which has been repurposed from a launch, or like a launch into a jump into just a launch, I think. Do I really want to get that? The answer is probably yes. You also have pause combos where you just pause and then you do something different that like goes against. It's like the opposite range of what the weapon normally does with its normal attack. So you get this, and then you can do this, which is like easily the highest damaging attack in the game. Like, people speedrun with that attack. The axe gets ranged pause combos, which are like mid-range. And the finisher is really devastating. Okay, I guess pushing this. Something I always thought was funny, like at the end of the game it's revealed that Faye made all the golden marks that show you where you're supposed to go. all of them. Like she just drew all of them everywhere. So I keep imagining Faye being in these impossible places, drawing all these golden marks everywhere she can. Like Alfheim, the depths of Helheim. Like, it makes sense at first, but then you really think about it and you're like, oh no, this is actually kind of goofy.
Wait, I think I see Baldur up ahead.
Okay. I really don't want to mess with this guy, so...
No, I would never...
Stay out of sight.
Listen,
You had no right.
I had every right. I am your mother.
You had no right, witch. I can't taste. I can't smell. I can't even feel the temperature of this room. Feasting, drinking, women. It's all gone.
You'll never
Gone.
feel pain again. Death has no power over you now. You would rather die?
Never feel again? Yes. I would rather die. Yes.
Anyway, this is why Freya is really the villain of this game.
Please take it away.
It doesn't work like that. Trust me, in time.
Imagine what a terrible parent she must have been.
Come on.
To stubbornly refuse to, like, let her son feel again.
No. Yes. I won't.
She'd rather drive her kid crazy than have him die. Like, this is fucked up. And the worst part is she sticks to her guns even at the end of the game. Freya's like the antithesis of Kratos in this game in a lot of ways, because she's like,
Do it! Do it!
as a parent, she's so much worse than Kratos will ever be.
Coward. I never want to see you again. Never.
Freya is his mother. Why did you keep this from us, Head?
Would you believe it slipped my mind?
I would not.
I'm at a loss. I assure you have no reason to keep such a thing a secret.
There's the boat. We will speak more of this soon.
But yeah, thematically, Freya is definitely the real villain of this game. I guess sort of in the same way, I guess you could say Hojo is like the true villain of Final Fantasy VII. Everything Freya did indirectly contributes to Atreus and Kratos' woes. Like, a lot of stuff here is her fault. Now, she isn't antagonistic right up until the very end, but she's absolutely, thematically, this game's villain. One of my biggest gripes with this game is how it reuses enemy models. And just makes their attacks slightly different. Like, some versions of this enemy will have like an unblockable overhead. Like that. Like that. That's not blockable. Others will have like a semi-blockable side swing. It just depends on the enemy killer. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. The whole system of enemy models being roughly the same, but retextured so they seem different, that's bad.
To do after I kill you.
Who is that?
We must hurry.
And here's what I was talking about with God of War 3 directly complementing God of War Norse here, is like I said earlier in the God of War 3 stream, Kratos hates what he did to Greece. He hates everything about what happened in God of War 3. He regrets it. Because finding out that, you know, the Pandora's box thing was his fault, and that like everybody just went crazy because of Pandora's box, that's still like that's bad writing, yeah. But in terms of how they put that in service to the story, it makes more sense that Kratos just hates what happened. I don't even know why I'm doing this. I don't even know if I want to do this. I don't like this particular chest. But... and again... Oh yeah, I remember. There's one hidden in the block here. Like I was saying, Kratos is like deathly afraid that his kid's going to turn out even remotely like him. Which, you know, it's a very valid fear. Of course. Doesn't work. And he doesn't want the kid to ever know what he did. He's like a serial killer hiding the fact that he's a serial killer from his child, you know? And that's like an important source of a lot of the conflict in this game, is like Kratos hiding his past from his kid. That's a major part of it, and that's a good story on its own. Like, so God of War 3 happened. Kratos regrets it. We don't regret it. We love it. But like, in terms of like how it works in the story, it's actually a pretty good way to sort of tie the two together. Because Kratos' past is a huge point of contention. He was a villain in the classic God of War games. He was just no holds barred a bad guy. Like, he straight up kills the Poseidon Princess in God of War 3, even though she had nothing to do with anything. Like, he has every reason to be ashamed of who he was. And they make sure we know that. He's ashamed. So I like the fact that they retooled the events of God of War 3 and fit it into this. Oh, cool. Ray tracing. I wouldn't quite say Kratos is on a redemption arc, because his cynicism still shines through a lot. Like, he's very, us versus them a lot of the time. And he only starts really getting altruistic thanks to Atreus really sort of pressuring him to do the right thing a lot of the time. But normally Kratos has to have like a pragmatic reason, or practical reason to like be a hero. Because he's not a heroic character. He's a guy who doesn't really want to get involved and do good deeds, because it's not who he is. It's who Atreus kind of is.
Not entirely sure this is seaworthy.
She will do.
But anyway. Now on to the one section of the game I kinda hate with passion. Like, this part is really nightmarish because a lot of Hellwalkers come in and you start trying to destroy the fire on the boat. And you have to constantly kill them as they, like, put out the bramble again and again and again. And it's honestly kind of annoying. And you're one part, like, the boat starts dividing and breaking up, and you literally have to, like, jump from area to area and continually shut down the Hellwalkers. And it's like, you have to start taking damage to sort of, like, get through it. And this is not a set where you can take damage, so I'm dreading this. Let me think here. What am I doing? Light this up.
Give me space to work.
Alright, light this up.
Let me help.
Okay.
What can I do?
You have done enough.
I like how Kratos' method of grounding Atreus is to just tell him, don't do anything. Do nothing, just let me do all the work. You sit there and think about what you did. Okay, now... Okay, I have to figure out where the devil that thing I'm supposed to be... Ah, there it is. Okay.
The sails are intact.
Great. Just bear in mind this boat can only take us part of the way. Tyr's temple is near the top of a tremendous waterfall, which, sadly, we are downstream. That means even if we get there intact, we'd still need to sail up a waterfall somehow.
The Vanir built the greatest ship that ever was, and it can fly.
Skidbladnir? Yeah, because it was designed to fly. This was not.
Nevertheless, this is the boat we have. We may do.
Okay, here we go.
Stop.
And perhaps the biggest iceberg I've ever seen.
At least the fire's making heat. What now?
Now we fly. Or in theory we fly. Okay, hold on. I gotta figure this out.
Chopping it? So now the sails are loose?
Just watch.
I like how Kratos, the supposed dumb character, thinks of this. Even I didn't think of this. Kratos is actually really smart. He's a warrior, not a thinker.
Pulling the sails down? But how are they gonna catch the wind?
Alright.
We're floating! The heat from the fires! We're actually floating!
And this is the part of the game I hate the most. Or that's coming up once I'm done
And
here,
we're stuck.
because
Not for
they're
long.
stuck.
Stay with the boat.
I can't believe it. You just made a huge sky lantern.
Okay. I really do wish they just made God of War 3 2 at times. Because while I like what this does with its story, I lament the fact that it tones down its combat and takes a step back. Because this right here. Okay, you want to switch weapons, right? You can't mid-combo at all. There's no dedicated block and switch button. It's not a thing. You can, however, do this, and suddenly you're in punch mode. Punch mode's good for stun.
I said stay on the boat.
So, you want to access the Blades of Chaos. Here's what you gotta do. You gotta press the side button. Yep. That doesn't sound too inconvenient. It's the same sort of system from, you know, God of War 3, right? Except, it feels clunkier here. You press triangle, summon the axe. Press side, you do this. So if you want to use the fists from the Blades of Chaos, you have to put them away. There you go. Axe, side, fists. This feels like a step back, despite being like an almost simpler version, because it just doesn't feel good to use. And plus there's no combo thing where you just press a block, attack, suddenly you switch weapons. It's no God of War 3, is basically what I'm saying. Like it, I wouldn't say it dumbs it down, but it like it does things so differently that it almost feels like it does them worse. Okay, hold on. My monkey brain isn't working here. Ah, called it. Didn't even need that.
On this bridge over here.
Okay, what am I even supposed to be doing here? Okay.
Wait for me there.
Oh, okay.
We need to talk, brother. You do realize it's over, don't you? Even if we make it back to Midgard, you and Baldur destroyed the only gate to Jotunheim. We are out of options. And that boy up there, he's in 9 kinds of pain. His head's turned so far around.
Atreus is not your concern.
Well, he might become everyone's concern if you don't do something. You don't have to be the smartest man in the world to see that.
Atreus.
I can help?
Together now.
Okay, here we go.
We did it. We're free. We are going to get out of here.
Grace me, Father. It is time to end this.
Yes, my son. It is time.
It's that voice again. Do you know who that is?
I do not know.
He's really trying to hide from this.
Hold on!
I can't yet.
Okay, so this section is my least favorite section of the game. Because it requires you to really micromanage a group of Hellwalkers, and it steadily gets more and more out of control as the game goes on. The longer you do this section, the worse it gets. I hate it. It's actually doing the job very well, but it's just, I hate how hard it is. Okay, I better switch. Trace a skill.
Something stops us! Short time!
Harpoon! I will free us!
Interesting story there.
Watch out!
Oh boy, here we go. Oh, fuck this. I hate this part. I hate it. Okay. He's got the
Harpoon! I will free us!
Almost ready! Watch your back!
ahead. How long before we reach the temple?
Yeah, crazy.
As long as we maintain this speed and those fires don't go out, we should be there in no time, lad.
If only there's a way to steer the ship.
I'm not ready. Putting out the fire! Remember!
And it just keeps getting worse, right? Oh god. Like, this whole sequence is really stressful, but... Oh god damn it. And of course it just keeps escalating and escalating until it's like... Hurry, 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 hurry! What the fuck? Oh, right. And I'm dead. Yeah. Not a fan of this part of the game. Well, I guess I could just do better.
Sorry, not ready. Putting out the fire. Remember.
Oh god. That's that. Yeah, not bad. You really have to pay attention to the enemies, like, that are on the screen.
Come here. How's the fire staying lit?
Would you believe magic?
Or those blades?
Okay, well, please let this be near the end. Like, that Health Walker section was rough, but it was like, it was doable, kind of. No, go away.
Got to put out the fire! Right inside! Starboard! Sorry, not ready!
Shit.
Some hell!
Changing arrow!
Oh my god.
Stopped again!
Well, the boat's been harpooned!
Don't step out onto the bow! It'll break off!
We need to lose that harpoon!
Let's go!
You don't look too good!
Okay. Now imagine how bad this would have been had I not been wearing the Zeus set. And I just had to deal with it, you know? Yeah. Guess I could have just killed all the Hellwalkers and went slowly one piece of one
Look
fire.
around at what you have done.
I imagine there's like a reason people normally wouldn't do that. But yeah, this is like... Atreus doesn't get what he's looking at here. He just thinks, okay, my dad beat up an old man.
We gotta go!
You saw.
There's no time, look!
And there you have it.
I have a plan! Jump!
It's here that Atreus really takes the initiative. Which I like. And there goes the airship. For better or for worse.
That was your plan? You're both cracked!
We are leaving this realm. Now!
As long as we didn't wreck our way back.
Okay. So, something I really feel like needs to be pointed out here. This is a room Odin used during the game. Like, before we come here, before we come into this room, Odin's been here. Pretty much since Kratos, like, unsubmerged the temple, Odin came here to, like, watch them and keep records. This is what makes Odin so scary as a villain, is Odin either knows who Kratos is, or he has a good idea. And he's using Kratos. He's planning ahead and, like, forcing Kratos into the events of Ragnarok to see how much damage he can do. Like, as far as I know, like, Kratos coming into Norway and, like, getting involved in all this, like, Odin didn't have anything to do with that, but Odin is absolutely taking advantage of the most dangerous god of war out there. And he's succeeding, is the scary part. Like, he knows what he's doing.
This is where Odin brought all his best clues about Jotunheim.
So, like, the entire time that Atreus and Kratos are journeying to get to, like, the tallest peak, Odin's been watching. He's been spying on them the whole time. Because he figures this will be our way into Jotunheim. Like, this will lead us there. And of course, the game's ending leaves, like, a lot of questions unanswered.
This is Odin's. I'd recognize his atrocious taste anywhere.
Look at that! It's the missing panel about Tyr. Odin must have stolen it. But why?
He always has his reasons. Might I have a look? Well, this is most unexpected.
Why? What does it mean?
I haven't the foggiest. Isn't that unexpected?
Head.
Look, clearly that's Tyr. Traveling somehow. Perhaps magically. But what's that to do with the giants that they should devote a shrine to it? I'm afraid that is none too clear.
What are those runes in the corners?
Not runes. Symbols from different lands. They mean...
war.
Aye.
How do you...
This one I know too well.
Oh.
His eyes. They are jewels. Like yours.
No doubt signifying the gift of sight the giants granted us. Give me a closer look. Interesting. Very interesting.
What is that?
Secret plans concealed by Tyr so none could access but him. And those few others the giants trusted. And right under Odin's nose, ho ho ho! I did promise I'd get you to Jotunheim.
What do you mean, Head? You said we were out of options.
Don't you see, brother? Odin never gave up hope, and neither should we. He knew there was a clue in here, but we're the ones who found it. These plans are for a key to some chamber Tyr's kept hidden. I don't know where it's leading or what we'll find, but it's a path.
How do we make this key?
I suggest we ask a dwarf.
That symbol on the temple door. It's a bunch of runes together. Peace, unity, hope, other things too.
Tyr's own design. He made this door himself.
Okay, well, we're past the worst, most unfun part of the game. More or less. I think after that we just go through Tyr's temple again, go through a bunch of traps. And
Boy.
some other stuff.
Before, when you saw,
I didn't see anything.
you did not see me with someone. An old man.
What old man? Can we go?
Yes.
Like, you can tell Atreus is trying to hide it, but he did see it. Like, he was watching, looking directly at them.
All right, let's get back to Midgard and see about making that key. Where's that dwarf?
But he also knows, like, Kratos doesn't want to talk about it, so he's just not gonna broach the subject right now. Alright.
Marrowhead, why did you not tell us Baldur is the son of Freya?
He is! It's shocking every time I hear it, and yet obviously I know it. When I think about Baldur and Freya and...
Mimir?
Yes, lad?
Freya.
How's that, brother?
Ed, tell me Baldur's vulnerability.
Baldur is blessed with invulnerability to all threats, physical or magical.
Wait, what is happening?
He is bewitched not to speak of what he knows.
I am? I am! Oh, that's it precisely. I wonder how long that's been so. Since she had my head at her mercy, back when I figured out Baldur's weakness.
Mimir,
Yes, lad?
you just said you figured out Baldur's weakness.
Did I? But Baldur is blessed with invulnerability to all threats, physical or magical.
Enough. This means there is a way. Can you make it?
Is it a weapon? Armor? Or likewise an instrument of war, of which I'm a master at shaping? No? Then forget it. Even if I wanted to make such an insignificant gewgaw, I'm liable to chink my tools working on something so delicate and ladylike.
Then shingle it. Pattern weld the item with scap slag. Keep the layers thin. Alternate the overlay.
Okay, smart guy. And where do you propose to find a lump of quality scap slag? Last time I saw one, I could still get rigid down south. Shut your mouth, is that... Where did you...
I had to get my hands dirty.
Well, don't just stand there. Let's do this.
What? You're fine with working on something that's not a weapon?
Oh, hell, why not? What? I can grow too.
I like this. It really fits the moral of God of War Norse.
Yeah, I need more heat.
Improving, becoming a better person.
You gonna temper that steel?
Even the dwarves kind of grow.
I triple quenched it with Draugr oil. See?
How inventive and sanitary. You clever little beaver. Never too late to learn a new trick, is it?
No, it's not. Yeah.
Here it is.
Nope. Don't forget this.
Alright. They combined the brand and everything.
Oh, quit your grinning. It's downright unsettling.
It's just nice to see you together. But now the rune on your brand looks different.
Yeah, price of reforging something what broke.
I knew it. You two love each other.
Oh, cut it out, Princess. You're gonna get me all weepy.
I like the new one better. Don't you?
We have work to do.
No. Hey, look who's back up and about. Didn't I tell you it'd be fine?
Now we just need to figure out what door this key opens. It has to be somewhere around the temple.
Okay. Now, as I remember, the door for this is like all the way in the back. But I'm not going after that because I want to get that chest first. But I am going to try to like bum rush through the ending of this game, I guess. And go ignore that. I didn't see that. Okay, the chest should be somewhere around here, I want to say. Maybe. Alright. And we're golden. Well, oof. Love the scale in this game. Right, so I'm gonna put it up right now because I'm getting pretty tired and need to sleep, so see you guys tomorrow evening, probably.